What is up, guys? Today we are looking at this 1/16 scale budget RC drift car that is apparently breaking the internet lately just because of what you get and for the price. So this car comes in at under $100. I think it's actually under $90, and comes with these on-road tires. It comes with a set of drift tires here that I have on my makeshift 3D tire rack. And it also comes with a cool feature that you only really see in high-end budget RC cars, which is like an AVC, or they call it an ESP. So we'll talk about that ESP feature in a little bit, but let's just go over just some details about this car. So this is the SG1604 version. It's kind of got this little coupe style. They also have a 1603, which looks a lot like the ARRMA Infraction. Both of them will come with two sets of wheels. This one, I have the street tires on it right now, but you can obviously replace them with these drift tires that are made of a hard plastic material, and they are glued to the wheels, it seems like. So these are, I believe, an 8mm hex wheel. I tried putting the low C, mini T, mini B tires on them, and they don't fit. So we're going to work on something like that in the future, I think. But coming in the box, you get a little USB charger. This is a bigger one than just the regular USB charger that you seem to get. It has a charging LED on it with a power LED as well. So once this is fully charged, I believe both lights will turn solid. Some other goodies that you will get are just a little screwdriver, your hex tool for the wheels and other parts of the car. You'll also get some little steering links, which I think are useful in case you break some of those. And obviously you'll get an extra set of the body clips for the car. Back to the car for a second. This is a, I guess you could call it a one-piece body. Comes with front LEDs that are really cool. As you saw in the intro, you can change it from halo to halo and headlights, or just headlights, and this goes directly into the ESC receiver up front. There's also a little spot here for rear taillights. I believe that is specifically for the 1603 version. This one does not have any taillights in the back. So this kind of looks somewhat like a Mustang, I guess you could call it. Those rear taillights are very Mustang-esque. Open driver's seat there. We'll put some GoPros in there or something and get some footage of this thing driving. But just a cool little body, kind of flimsy, but gets the job done for something this small. Moving on to the car specifically, you can see that it has both front and rear bumpers. The front has a foam pad on it, and the rear has just this plastic kind of bumper diffuser here, which is kind of nice. Protects the bottom of the car in the back here, and gives it a more rigid feel when you have the body on it. Front and rear shocks are friction shocks. There are no oil in there. There are different positions that you can place them to give this car a taller or lower ride height. It is four-wheel drive, if I didn't mention that already, and you can see that the differentials are very stiff, which is good for a drift car. You can hear that diff gears kind of moving around in there. But yeah, overall good little chassis here. The front and rear dog bones are metal, which is nice, and those go into plastic drive cups on both the front and rear. Center drive shaft is also metal. As you can see, the car is a little dirty. I couldn't help but drive this already before doing the review. Moving on to some of the electronics, you do get this 7.4 volt lithium ion battery. I went ahead and switched over the connectors to Dean's just because I have a few Lipos that will fit in here, and the connector that it came with wasn't very user friendly. So I went ahead and soldered new ones on the ESC here, as well as the battery. And I'm going to do a speed run with the stock battery as well as a 2S battery, and we'll try and get a 3S in here and see if this thing doesn't blow up. I figured a lot of you like the 3S speed runs just to see how fast these cars can go without changing too much. The motor is a little brush motor. I believe this might be like a 480 brush motor. Your steering servo, unfortunately, again, is a 5-wire servo that goes directly into the receiver ESC combo on the side here. I've seen a lot of videos of people changing these out to small brushless systems, so it's a good little platform to upgrade down the road. Alright, so we have the headlights plugged into the ESC receiver combo, and I just want to show you what all of the buttons do on the remote. So this remote here is different than some of the other budget remotes that we get. This thing has a good feel to it. It's a little bit bigger than usual, and some different buttons on here. We have the usual throttle and steering reverse. We also have the steering trim and steering dual rate, and then the other new button that we have is a ESP button. So as you change this, it will change the amount of ESP or AVC, the active vehicle control, that the car provides. So I'll show you a little demonstration here as I turn this all the way up, and I will give it only throttle. And as you can see, the wheels are trying to correct the car. So imagine this is going down the road, right? And you start to spin out. The car will automatically correct the tires so that the car drives more straight. Now this is a good and bad thing. If you're doing speed runs, this will help, but to a certain extent. As you'll see at the end of the video of this thing running, if you turn this all the way up, the car starts to do kind of like a speed wobble, and that's just because it is correcting the steering so often that the car starts to shake. So anywhere between somewhere in the middle to all the way down is going to be your best bet for this ESC button. Some of the other notable mentions for buttons on the remote here is an on-off switch for the lights. You can turn that on and off. And this button right here, you can switch between your headlights, halos, and both. And again, that will control the back light on the 1603 version. So before taking this outside, I want to just mention a weak spot that I have found on this car. Now this may vary depending on how you drive the car and, you know, if you crash it and whatnot. But in my experience with driving this, there is a weak point here. This top little arm is held on by a screw. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in the video here, but I have glued this and put some 3D printer filament on there and melted it down just to keep this more sturdy. I've broken it a few times just by hitting things lightly and forcing that to shear off there. So just something to note. Other than that, I haven't had any issues with the car. But we'll take this out, we'll do a couple speed runs, and we'll show you how this thing drifts with these tires as well as the plastic drift tires.
So this first run here is the stock battery that it comes with. I'm just running around. I think my ESP is at about 50%. So I'm going to turn the ESP all the way up to the top and just notice the kind of speed wobble here as I bring it full speed towards me. Now I'm going to turn it all the way back down. This is the way that you're going to have the most control over the car and the most control over drifting. Again, these are the rubber tires, but as you can see on sort of slick surfaces, they do have the ability to drift.
Run is 3S. I have the ESP on, and we're going to get a shot here. I'm going to show you how these tires are going to be turning on their own.
So all of this adjusting coming out of turns, that's all done with the car and the throttle. I am not self-correcting. And then once I come out of the turn, then I'm turning it here and there to maneuver the car. let's swap over to the drift tires and see how those work. As you can see here, these things are basically like driving on ice. There's really no traction at all, but once you get the car moving, it tends to stay in motion, and then you can kind of just drift it around. You don't really need to give it full throttle at all, just kind of, as you can see and hear, that I'm kind of just really feathering the throttle.
Alright guys, I'm going to leave that video there. If you like this car, leave a thumbs up down below. Tell me what you liked about it, what you don't like about it. Let me know if you picked one up yourself. Once I find my GPS meter, I'm going to put out another video doing the speed runs. We'll do the stock battery, 2S and 3S. Obviously there is a big difference. So again, these are the on-road tires. As you could tell, there was a little bit of slippage with them. You can definitely drift them just because this is four-wheel drive and this car is so powerful. But once again, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.